Okay, we're live. Hello, my ramens. Welcome to the Ramen Shop. I'm your host, Nenorama, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Howie.
Hello.
Well, hello. It's been
I almost coughed
a bit.
in the middle of saying hello if you were wondering why that sounded super weird. Because that's definitely, my voice is light and delicate like that. It's
Oh.
not like a trumpet
Yeah.
at all. It's not big and brassy. That's not who I am. This is just a performance I put on
Oh yeah, absolutely.
for the internet. I'm definitely
Howie be
because
lying.
who would talk this loud just in normal life? Who would do that to other people?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, do your intro.
Well, yeah.
Do your good intro that you were doing.
I did. I was like, hello, my ramens. Welcome to the Ramen Shop. I'm
Yeah,
your
but
host,
you like
Nenorama.
setting up the topic that you started before I
Oh,
rudely
yes,
started talking about
yes.
coughing.
Coughing. No, it's totally fine. Uh, for today's episode, we'll be talking about my recent trip to Arizona and how that went. And if we get long enough into this podcast, we may be talking about the world.
Hey.
Yay! Okay, so for those who don't know, today is the 27th of June 2020. I
Really?
just got back from my trip to Arizona. I was in Arizona for the past week because I needed a break from everything.
Yep.
And I had a great time.
Hey, I'm glad.
Yes.
I still think it was an interesting choice in trying to have a break from everything to go to Arizona.
Well, well, I went because friend's there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. Uh, like a lot of things kind of just like ended up perfectly aligning time wise to make this a great trip. So I was like, oh heck yes. Um, so I think the first day of note was probably actually Sunday, not Saturday, the day I arrived. Uh, on Sunday was the day that Charlie hit, CG5 hit 1 million subscribers.
Yay!
So
That's wild.
it is very wild.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like being there, seeing him grow from that tiny baby boy channel. He was at
Mm-hmm.
like 20 subscribers when we
Yeah.
became friends, and now he's here at 1 million. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a big old rush. It was a big moment. It was a good time.
Super cool. I
Um,
remember you guys showing up at my house to go to the mall, me getting in the car like, who the heck is this guy?
yep.
He's like, I make music and here's a cover of Heathens that got
Yep.
taken down.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. This dude. This is a guy. He's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. This guy,
Um
he cool. He fun.
and then Bendy and the Ink Machine happened.
Yep.
And now here we are. And it's wild.
Yeah. It's so wild. Like I knew this boy is talented from like the beginning, and I
Yeah.
actually did feel like he'd get here. It's just weird that we're now here.
Yeah.
Like
It's weird that it's weird being here
it is cuz it's
or seeing him there, you know.
oh yeah, seeing him there. It's like
Mhm.
yeah, cuz I've been along on that trade for now 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a very surreal moment.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, making the the hitting 1 million subscribers
Mhm.
was a surreal moment. Yeah. It's so bizarre because like I don't know, whenever I'm trying to I don't know, whenever I do something that has gets likes on it, which as as we all know is not frequently. But but the I imagine um Like, what if I were standing in the same room with these people?
Mm-hmm.
What if I were standing in the same room with these people? And the and it and like even like 20 people, I'm like, look, here's the thing. And like I'm standing in a room with like 20 people and they're looking at it. And that's pretty wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like standing in a room with a million people, like Chaboy is more popular than the president of the United States currently.
Yeah. uh, like honestly, just being in the room, just jumping up and down, seeing those digits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's super exciting.
it really is.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, so that day was kind of just hype, and then chilling out after the hype.
I didn't actually know that you were going to Arizona, or I just like missed it or something. And so
Hmm.
I was like, oh, Charlie hit 1 million subscribers, cool. And I clicked on the video, and that was, oh, hey, that's my boy. Hello,
Yeah.
what the heck? Hi.
Yep.
There he be.
Yep. Like, coincidentally, just go down to Arizona right as Charlie hits a
Was that
million.
like that was a coincidence?
Yeah, that was a coincidence.
Dang.
Yep.
Man, that's so cool to I'm glad that you were able to like, be there and like celebrate with him.
Yeah. Like,
That's awesome.
it was a fun time.
Mhm.
And then day after, uh, it was pretty much just chilling consistently throughout that week. I woke up at around noon to 1.
Wow.
Yes, because I was very tired.
Yeah, there you go. What is
uh,
that? 11 hours of sleep?
no,
Am I doing my math wrong? I'm too
I'm an
tired for math.
insomniac boy, so usually 3 a.m. is when I go to bed.
Mhm.
So that's a
Oh,
yeah.
you were waking up around the 12 to 1 zone.
Yeah, so I was actually finally
I
getting a
see, I
full
see, I
8 to 9 hours of sleep.
see. Dang, congratulations, my guy.
Yes, it was really nice.
Yeah. That's
um,
awesome.
yeah. So that day was just a lot of chilling, hanging out, talking, finding fun
Mhm.
stuff out. I don't think Charlie's gonna listen to this podcast, so might as well just have
Nah.
fun. Um,
Nah.
I was teaching.
Wait, what are you about to do? Hold on.
I was okay. I was teaching the boys some things about real life.
Dude, you can't talk. You can't do that. You
But
can't do that on a live
but
stream.
come on. This
What
one's
are you?
it's stupid. It's simple. It's not bad.
All right.
Okay, so
Okay.
the boy buys bottles of water
Uh-huh.
because he doesn't know how to change the filter in his fridge.
Oh, sweetheart.
Yes, and he didn't look up how. So I just go in and immediately just show him how to take the filter out. And we order filters because I was just like, bro. Yeah. So just
Oh, I
something
forgot. You
simple
can't.
like that.
You just like can't drink water out of the tap in Arizona.
No. Well,
It
you
tastes
can.
like blood.
Well, it's like you can in some areas. It's just not
Mhm.
good.
It's sketchy. Yeah, it's sketchy and it does not. It tastes like blood.
Yeah, a little bit
Yep.
more irony, a little bit more calcium filled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just warm.
Yep. Everything
Right.
there is war.
Well, I'm glad you guys got that figured out.
Yeah, that was a good thing to get figured out.
That is a good thing to. Man, can I say something crazy and unrelated to anything besides learning things that you didn't know? With
Oh,
like
heck
probably
yes.
that you already should know.
Yeah.
So, one time I was like 12 or something, scared of heights.
Mm-hmm.
Airplanes freaked me out. I was on an airplane with my mom and my brother. I can't remember where we were going,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we were going to Arizona to visit our cousins, maybe.
Ooh.
But we, um, yeah. So we were on the airplane, and my mom mentioned like, man, like I'm like even more freaked out now that I know how planes work. And I was like, how do planes work? And both of them looked at me immediately and were like, don't look it up. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh
And since
no.
that point, I just sort of hadn't gotten around to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned how planes work my friend who is studying to become a pilot taught me how planes worked
Mm-hmm.
like a month ago. I'm 22 years old and I just learned how planes work, and it's the most bonkers nonsense I've ever like heard of in the world. Like
Oh
you've
yeah.
got you've got it's like, all right, if you go fast enough, then you'll have a little air bubble
Mm-hmm.
around the wing or under the wing,
Mm-hmm.
and because there's this rule in science, it will go up.
Yes.
And that is the most like that's like no clipping through a wall in Skyrim to skip the whole like intro sequence. Like what? That's like asking your GM like, "Okay, look. So I have this and you said this and the game rules say this. So technically I can exploit this loophole to fly, right?" And the GM's like
I
I guess. I mean,
just start.
I mean, I don't like this, and it feels bad, but I can't tell you no because that's what the rule is, and you have found a legitimate loophole. I don't know, just that airplanes like it feels like a loophole, right?
I,
Doesn't it?
I,
Doesn't it?
I, I could see it. I can see it.
It's absolutely nonsensical. I mean, like sometimes you think about like doorbells. That's kind of funny and arbitrary. Like we're like,
Mm.
what if you're too far away from the door to hear a knock? Let's put a little button on it that you can push and it'll make a little ding sound throughout your house.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of it's just kind of funny that we decided to do it that way.
Yeah.
And like we don't often think about the things that are just normal. Like we just take a lot of things for granted as normal that like could have been a different way. Like they're totally arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
And this is and it's much easier to see those things like if you're introduced to them way after everybody else was. So that airplanes are levitated by little magic bubbles that are created when you just go fast enough, because the science said that if you have these molecules here and these molecules here, they will push away.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I think it's crazier that it's just like metal, because you would think you're like, oh, metal heavy. Uh, metal can't float in air. No,
It's
that is,
just
yeah.
that's the mechanism that to lift it up is just like it's just wild. So like so I don't fault Charlie for not knowing how to change the filter, clean the filter or whatever on his
Mm-hmm.
fridge thing, water thing, because I didn't know how planes worked until last month. I'm so happy I do. Like I don't know why my mom and my brother thought that this would make me less like I feel more comfortable with writing in planes because
Mm-hmm.
like that's just broken and hilarious.
Oh, dang.
Like like I just like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable with absurdity, so
Yeah, I mean, absurdity
yeah.
is the best. If you're just,
So that's
like, if I'm just thinking, oh, yeah, I'm glitching
mhm.
through the Matrix. Yeah, okay. That does make flying even more fun for me. Like,
It makes you exactly. Like this is a man, I mean it's like yeah, it's just a glitch that made it past the beta and it's not fixable at this point. Like that's just how it is.
it's just,
Like this version of the world doesn't get an update. Like this is just how
yeah,
it works
there's no
now.
new updates. Like, there might be, like, small patches every now and then where you're just like, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. Killer hornets in the United States? No, they're
It's
gone now. Who
it's like
knows
this
what
thing I
happened?
saw it's like this thing I saw in Minecraft recently. Don't judge me. I need some peaceful times, okay, in this wild world.
Of
And
course.
Minecraft brings that to me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Captain Sparkles. Everybody go watch My Night. But the so he's like I want to so you can do the thing where you can um so what he does is he puts a piston
Mm-hmm.
on the ceiling, right? And he puts a button next to it, and when you push the button, then a thing extends from the piston to like push whatever's there down.
Mm-hmm.
Directly underneath that, he puts this block called a composter. I don't know what it does really or how it works, But
Mm.
he steps into that, hits the button, he's pushed Semi through the floor so he can just see all of the open space in the ground for like 15 chunks around him.
Oh,
That's what
dang.
airplanes feel like to me now that I know how they work. It's like this definitely wasn't the intended effect,
Yeah, I
but
definitely don't think so.
like we didn't expect you to like we didn't expect this, but it's here and we're
Mm.
not going to remove it from the game cuz it's
Well,
fun.
yes, it's fun. It's very convenient. It's like,
It just
let me just take my quick old air Uber. Uh,
yeah. So that's my 10-minute long airplane tangent. So just TLDR, I didn't know how airplanes worked until 22 years old a month ago. And so I do not fault Charlie for the
oh
for
my
the
god.
water filter
Oh
thing.
yeah. There's things that we don't learn sometimes, and we're like, I found this out. Sweet.
So
Uh,
wait.
heck yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
what else? How was the rest of your trip?
Rest of the trip was good. Day
Mhm.
after, I hung out with my friends Kyle Allen and Kale Ryusaki. Uh,
Cool.
it was a chill day. Ate some sushi, um, played some Smash Bros. And kicked everyone's butt. Uh, did some swimming, and that was pretty much it for that day. Fun times talking music and whatnot. Oh wait, I forgot something for Monday. Uh, so when I was, so I'm gonna preface this by saying I had an idea like 2 months back that somehow has just stuck with me until this moment, and it's a real
Mhm.
dumb idea, but I like it. So
Okay.
and so there's this show by the name of the Backyardigans. That's for like
Yes, I'm familiar
kindergartners
with the
to like
backyardigans.
first graders.
Yeah.
Uh, it was on Nick Jr. and it was part of my childhood.
Mhm.
And there was a song in it called Gobbly Goo, and it actually had kind of a cool
Okay.
beat to it. And I was like, huh,
All right.
what if for some weird reason I was to make a trap beat out of this?
I knew that that's where you were going. As soon as
And
as
I
soon
brought
as you
this
mentioned
idea
a
up to
song.
Charlie. Like, well, I have nothing better to do. Let's get this done. I was like,
Oh my
okay. And we
laws.
made a trap beat out of, and it's a good trap beat out of this song that's in a kid's show that came out like a decade and a half ago.
Sometimes just like something's
And
got to be
that
done
is our
and
lives.
you're the one that can
That
do
is a
it.
thing that happened.
Nice. Okay, well, cool. Is this going to
How
be
are you there?
published anywhere at any time?
I can't hear you. I don't know what's going
Oh,
on. 1 second.
oh no. Can you hear me?
I don't know. Wait, no, wait. No, I can't. What the frick?
Hello? Can you
Okay,
hear
okay.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear
Oh
you.
my gosh. I was making real good commentary, I swear.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Don't worry. I trust you. I have no idea
You were
what
going for
happened there.
that beat.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
We
know.
went
I
for that beat.
muted to take a bite of my chocolate treat I have here. And then I unmuted,
Uh huh.
and it didn't do that, I guess.
Oh, okay. That may be the case.
Yep. Is this going to be published
Oh,
anywhere anytime
it
soon?
shall be. I've decided because still, I'm deciding still whether or not to just either sing over the original lyrics and just see it as a trap remix cover, uh, or if I should just go and make like a rap over it for funsies. Uh, Not sure yet, but one of the two is imminent.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing your backyardigans song trap remix
Yeah.
slash just
Stupidity.
stolen beat under under a new rap.
Yes, absolutely, because that's how trap rap tends to work, actually. uh,
Alrighty, there you go. There
yeah,
you
so that
go.
was what happened on Monday. And Tuesday, I
Mhm.
just summarized it pretty quick. It was just like hung out with some friends. It was good times with the
Nice.
peeps. Um, and then Wednesday, we went and kidnapped Marshall Dalvando as expected because he's a dummy. Uh, and we decided, hey, we're gonna work on something for fun. I was like, yay! Uh,
Cool.
so we started a song for it's for Marshall's channel, but of course I put in my work and Charlie put in his work. We worked together on the
Yeah.
song after 2 years having not seen each other with all three of us together.
Man, it has been a long time, huh?
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
So momentous occasion, of course. Oh, before we did that, we went and got Sonic as per tradition. Uh,
Nice.
uh, After Sonic, we just went back to the place and just decided, hey, uh, we're going to make a song for Marshall's Dead channel, uh, which is the constant joke we have at the moment with this stuff. Um, and it's of this current SCP trend thing called Siren Head, uh, and we made a song about it. For those who do not know, Siren Head is this mythical creature thing with two sirens as its head. Wait, Howard, you there?
I am here.
Okay, I
Hear me?
wasn't sure. Yes, I could hear you.
Okay,
I just
good.
heard nothing for a second. I was like, is
Oh, I was
Howard
saying
dead? Oh
so
no.
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even hear an so I wasn't sure.
Hmm.
Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Full charge.
Someone popped in, heard you talking about Siren Head, and then left. They just
Aw, dang. Dang it. I
the
guess that's
people
the
do
end for
not
it.
love Siren Head, apparently.
Apparently, dang. Maybe it's a dead trend already. Dang. Who would have known?
We almost had a listener, Nen. Gosh dang it.
Yeah.
We
Well,
almost had a single listener.
almost another listener. Oh, me and my
Another.
cursed
There are two people in
process.
this live chat, and I know full well that they're you and me.
Yeah. Uh, I do. Yeah, because I do know the one. It's me. And I guess the other's you. Yeah, that happens.
Rip in
That's a
pieces.
thing. Yeah, rip in
Anyway,
pieces.
back to Siren Head.
Yeah, okay. So Siren Head is just a creepy pasta thing. SCPs
Mm-hmm.
have become big recently because video games have died. Um,
Okay.
what? Well, it's just like there haven't been any like big time trending video games that people talk about, like your
Mm.
Bendies and your FNAFs.
Oh, I see, I see. Like the trendy, everyone's
Yeah.
obsessed with them for a couple months sort of situation.
Yes. And
Okay.
yeah, so right now SCPs have been big, and SCPs are like secure containment something.
Yeah.
Uh, and one of those recently that got really big is Siren Head. While
Hmm.
we're currently at the tail end, I think, of that trend,
Hmm.
we were deciding, you know what, frick it, let's just make a song
Do it
about it.
anyway.
Yeah, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's our best song yet that we made.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, alrighty.
I'm going to send you the link, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, please, please.
Yes. Um, I really enjoy it. So Dalvando and I sang it. I did the lyrics and
Nice.
melody for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we did this over the span of 3 days. So Wednesday,
Cool.
Thursday, and Friday, which is good because it takes Dalvando forever to make music. And we
I like
use.
how, since no one will listen to this, probably,
Yeah.
um, I like how you're just hating on everyone.
Well, no, that's how us as friends work. We hate on each other all the time.
Okay, I see. And
Yeah.
everybody's chill with doing it publicly, yes?
Yes.
I cool.
Like
I just want to check.
yeah,
I don't
we've
want to be mean to anybody.
don't worry. We've done it in live streams before. We've done it in our freaking
All right,
vlogs.
there you go. There you
It's
go.
it's a standard.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, so he takes his sweet time, and of course, Charlie can finish a song in a day. So with those
I've
powers
never
combined,
seen, yeah. I've
uh,
never seen anyone be able to churn out musical content as quickly as Charlie does.
same,
Yep.
because I was there with him, and he was able to he started working on a song and got like halfway through in an hour. And I'm like,
Mm.
holy crap!
It's like generally at least pretty competent stuff, like that. Like that's the bare minimum,
Oh
and
yeah.
usually it's better than that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a freaking every other day basis. It's so fast.
Oh yeah. The thing is like I got to see some of his projects behind the scenes, and a lot of them he's been doing are actually some pretty big projects. I'm like, oh
That's
dang,
cool.
heck yeah, they're sounding really good, which means he put
That's good.
a lot more time into them. Uh,
Yeah.
and those are
So
going
you
to be
made these
exciting.
music
Yes, so made music with the
hmm?
boy, and that was a fun time. Uh,
Fun.
Cause it's like I knew of Siren Head. I was like, interesting trend, I guess. I don't care about it. And then of course when it was like, hey, we're making song about it. Of course, like, okay, I guess I'll care about it now. Uh, so I went ahead and cared about
Mm-hmm.
it, and it was fun.
Yep.
It was a good
That's
time.
cool.
Uh,
I like that I don't know.
mhm,
I don't think you can make anything like truly good unless you care about the thing that you're making.
mhm,
And I mean, like I don't know. I've gotten into more things that I wouldn't have gotten into and explored more, especially in terms of music. I've explored a lot more stuff that I would have never been open to without having a creative basis for listening to it.
mhm,
And I don't know. I just think the power of creativity is really cool, and I don't know. It makes you care about things that you wouldn't necessarily have beforehand.
mhm. Yeah.
And that's just my thought. That's just my tangent.
Yeah, well, it's a good tangent. I like that tangent. Let's continue tangent with my thoughts on said
I
tangent.
Yeah,
So,
go go.
yeah, because it's true. Same here. I started listening and opening myself up to more stuff as time went on, and I'm listening to a lot more stuff that years ago I would be like, yo, that's what we call trash. Uh,
Mhm.
and now I'm just like, oh, this is so good. Uh, like currently, I'm in a 80s Japanese pop phase where I'm listening to
Nice.
80s Japanese pop, and it's real good. Uh,
Alrighty.
it's an entire vibe that I just missed out on, and I really like it.
Mhm.
And anyways, so with projects that I need to be passionate about, luckily I still found Siren Head as a creature and a mythos interesting.
That's
Uh,
good.
and so researching into it, and I was like, and seeing the quote unquote lore videos about it, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm down. This will be fun.
Mhm.
And of course, being surrounded by friends and everything, I had a big old boost of creativity, and
Absolutely.
it was a fun time. It was a big
That's
old
really
fun
cool.
time.
I'm excited to hear it.
Oh yeah. Uh, so that was pretty much a big chunk of just like what happened with the rest of that trip, pretty much. But
Yeah, just working on the song.
yeah, so it was working with the song. I was able to hang out with my friend D. Husta on his birthday. The thing
Aw,
is,
fun.
he didn't even realize that we were going to be hanging out on his birthday until the day he was like, "Oh yeah, it's my birthday." Oh.
Mhm. Time
uh,
isn't real anymore, you know?
yeah. We went to one of those trampoline places. Um, that was a fun old time. Uh,
Hmm.
we paid for 2 hours, but we couldn't last 1 hour, because our now older bodies cannot handle such things as jumping on trampolines and climbing rock wall.
How many people were there?
There was probably like 20 people.
Like at the whole place?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't bad. Um, so it was just a fun time going into the little foam pits and throwing around foam balls.
Hmm. I'm like I'm trying to be enthusiastic about this,
Yes, but
but
of
it's
course,
difficult for me
COVID time and worried
because of
and
the
yes,
virus
yes,
and because of
I
the
know.
area you were in.
Yes, I
I'm
know.
it makes me I am concerned.
Yes, understandably so.
Hmm.
But either I'm asymptomatic and hopefully uh, everyone around me is as well, or I just don't have it
I mean, you got back when?
today.
Today. Yeah, you might not know like the incubation period
It's two
is like
weeks.
yeah, it's like a couple days to 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could have it.
True.
Yeah.
Let us
Like
hope not.
let us hope not, and let us not go to trampoline places in at all. At all,
Yes.
maybe.
True.
Why did you go? I'm sorry.
I
Why did
know.
you
I
go?
know. I know. Probably because it was suggested and they sanitized the place, so we were just hoping it was fine. It was like if we're there for less than an hour, which we were, and we're not in contact with other people for the most part,
Uh huh.
then we thought it would be fine.
Okay. How often? I don't know. I'm not gonna go into all the details. I'm just
Yes,
concerned about you.
of course.
You visited a hotspot, and I'm sure all the people you were with are lovely, wonderful people. I don't know how careful they're
I
being.
mean,
It,
most of
it makes
them.
me worried.
Well, think about it. Most of them are musicians slash YouTubers that stay indoors every single day and don't see the sun.
Yeah,
So,
but they have to like get groceries and things.
yes, that means everyone's a target then at that point.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody goes to the store.
Yeah, I mean, but like if you no, I mean like but you can go to the store and practice like due caution.
Yes, they have their masks. They have hand sanitizers just on their belts at all time. So
Okay,
like,
cool.
yes.
I just want to check
Okay.
cuz there are lots of people who are just sort of tired of doing the pandemic thing
Yeah.
and they're tired of thinking about it, so they're just sort of not
Mm-hmm.
worrying about it. And there are more people that I like and respect and
Mm-hmm.
care about doing that than I don't know. It's kind of upsetting a little bit,
Yes.
and I have difficulty trusting people before I have spoken directly to them.
Yes. Which is understandable, especially those who are as extremely cautious as you, which you do need to be, which is understandable.
Mhm.
Um, like, I trust these people, which is
Mhm.
why it's like I wouldn't let my guard down if I didn't trust these people.
I'm just checking. I'm just
Yes,
checking.
yes, yeah. So it was good. It was brief. We went and got blizzards after and chilled and talked. So that was a good time.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Then just worked on some music, swam a bit. Friday was just like a big old last hurrah. So
Mhm.
just pool party because Charlie has a pool in his backyard. Um,
Nice.
so just swam, ate some pizza, and worked on music until 2 a.m.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, so it was a good old time. Lots of
Mhm.
laughs, lots of talks, just good times. It was a good
That's
time.
good.
It was a good trip, a memorable trip. Probably so far the best point of this year.
Yeah. I'm glad that you got to go out and see just be with people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um like it's great when people have like their own living spaces.
Yes.
Um cuz like I'm currently pretty dang limited in terms cuz I'm not like I'm not like extremely high risk, but I'm in the general zone,
Mm-hmm.
and much of my family my immediate family is
Mm-hmm.
in the high risk zone directly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so but like we have a small house with not a lot of like rooms with doors and things,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's no bridge point, there's no airlock, there's no like and a lot of my friends that are um a lot of my friends that are here are living here because obviously like I've got some friends like school friends in other states and things,
Mm-hmm.
like they live with like their families or with other people that are not being careful,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like I kind of just can't touch anyone,
Yeah.
and I like as this thing is sort of turning into less of a pandemic, more of an endemic situation, um like I just might not be able to touch people for the next 3 years.
Oh, there.
So that's so like it's real like having I am somewhat jealous of the people that got a hold of a house with people they can trust, or an apartment or something with people they can trust,
Mm-hmm.
um before this thing took off.
Yeah.
um yeah.
Uh.
I'm a little cuz man, I want to like get a trailer home, you know? Like just one of those like mobile home thingies.
Mm-hmm.
So like it would be so useful to have one of those right now, cuz then like you could go visit a friend, come home, just live in the trailer for 2 weeks. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd go crazy. I would go crazy.
I mean,
But like people would be safe.
yeah.
And that's the thing that matters.
Yes. People safe.
Mhm.
Everyone's stuck in their stuff. Like, I'm just wondering if I would go crazy. I
Being
don't.
alone in a trailer for 2 weeks, tiny space.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would go crazy because it's not like I have like work to go to, and I also wouldn't be able to, like drive the family car or
Well,
anything. So like I wouldn't
yeah.
be able to go anywhere except on walks.
Well, yeah. Like, I feel like I'd be fine because I'd be able to just binge shows
That's
and
true.
play video games.
Mhm.
So I think I could go for 2 weeks and be like,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes,
I can do whatever I want. No one can come in here and tell me not to.
yes. Honestly, I'd be able to talk with freaking friends because uh, going into freaking VCs is a tougher time recently, and
Going into what?
going into voice chats
Oh, I
with
see.
friends and like been a bit
Why is it a
tougher.
tougher time?
Mixture of anxiety and the times that he chat. Uh,
Ah, gotcha.
they
Yeah,
tend
yeah.
to start their calls at like 11 to midnight, and I'm like,
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah. That's
mm-hmm,
not great.
yeah, that's not great, especially because it's just like I have a curfew at the moment of 10 p.m. to talk to people. Um,
I'm gonna fight your family my own self. you are, you're, are you 21 or 22?
I'm 22.
You're a full-on adult. You've been an adult for 4 years. You've been like able to like things you can do at the age of 21 are, like some of the things you can do at the age of 21 are like purchase alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
um adopt a child or get a concealed carry permit. Like you are,
Yeah.
and you've been there for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I
I, it's like there's
just want
some.
you to have the freedom to live.
It's like they trust me in some aspects. There's some behind the scenes things where it's like, yes, they see me as adult and they
Yeah.
trust me as adult. But there's some things where they're just like, okay, our son has shown these specific aspects which are really bad, and we want to be there for him.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how we're there for him.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I
By
understand.
imposing a curfew.
Well, yes, because they're just like, we
It
want
doesn't
you to.
cure insomnia.
Yes, it doesn't cure insomnia, but they think it'll help because if I don't have as much to do, then I won't have a reason to stay up maybe as long. They think.
That's not how that works.
I
If you
know.
don't have anything to do, then you won't be able to transition into sleep.
If anything, it'll just give me anxiety because I have nothing to do to transition to sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Man, that
yeah,
is difficult.
yeah. It, it'd be like that.
Yeah.
But
Even if not to be like a massive downer, but like I don't know. I'm there because of the aforementioned um so I live in Utah, so it's not
mm-hmm.
great. It's not awesome over here right now. And it's getting
Yeah,
we're rapidly approaching it being very, very bad.
yeah.
And there are a lot of people who feel
Which is sad because we're still one of the better states.
no, we're not.
What?
That's incorrect.
Did,
We're
did,
not one of the
did,
better states.
did we go up?
Oh yeah, we went up. We went way up.
Dang it.
Really quickly because we opened too fast, and the problem is the governor didn't I don't even know his name. Is that bad? Probably.
I don't know either.
Governor's the state governor he he didn't so we did the same thing as a lot of the other states that are looking pretty good right now. Except
Mm-hmm.
the one thing we didn't do is mandate stuff like wearing
Mm,
masks.
yeah.
And
They
so
just
the as
recommend.
exactly as the state started to reopen because Governor is it Herbert something like that
Oh, is it
because the
still him?
governor
Ugh.
didn't want to be divisive,
Mm-hmm.
which means that he didn't want Donald Trump to be mad at him, basically.
Yes, pretty
And
much.
so he didn't want the Republicans to be upset. And so um and as a result everybody is in danger, which is awesome. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't want to be divisive, so he didn't mandate that people wear masks. And things practice things like that. And the
That's real
so
shit.
as we started opening up the state, people see like the thing is that there are two mindsets you can be in
Mm-hmm.
during this situation. There's the I want to keep myself and others safe.
Mm-hmm.
So what should and shouldn't I do? And then there's the mindset of I what am I allowed to do? Like there are things I want to do, what am I allowed to do? Like how can I make those happen under the currently imposed rules that
Mm-hmm.
we're doing? And the problem with that second mindset is that if things are not mandated, then those people will not do do the things. And things are if the state is being opened up too quickly, they followed the state, not the like government recommended things. They're not following the information about what is actually happening and what works and what doesn't. They're following the state guidelines for the various risk phases, which if they're happening too early, like aren't going to help anyone. Like they're like following those to the letter will make it worse
Mm-hmm.
if that is too soon. So the so basically there's a really good Salt Lake Tribune article
Mm-hmm.
that sort of tracked the number of confirmed cases. So this is not asymptomatic people. This is not people that are currently experiencing an incubation period. This is not people who decided to stay home and not go get tested.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever these numbers are, it's worse actually than what the numbers are. And the curve just like through the like red, orange to yellow just is like steadily going up. And there's variation from day to day, but like in general it's trending upwards, and then it takes a really steep zoom upwards about halfway through the sort of moving into the yellow risk phase.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is where we're at currently. So we might have to roll back stuff because of how quickly we're moving towards being one of the states who have it the worst.
Dang, I didn't
Yeah.
know that we were climbing that quickly because the last I had checked, which was probably like 2 months ago, we were one of the
Mhm.
better states, like really better states.
Yeah, we were doing all right.
Yeah, we were doing all right. I'm, and I do know that once we opened up again, people were just like, "Corona's gone," and
Yep.
so
Because
they're
I
on
didn't
us.
see anything.
Yep.
Because another part of the problem is that like the people who are out and about and interacting with other people, so the people, so there are people who like are like, oh, is the pandemic over, and they're going out and about because things are opening up, and the only people they're interacting with for extended periods of time or like the most often or whatever are the people who also think that it's over, because the people who don't think that it's over are avoiding going out a ton and practicing like the wearing masks and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and or just staying home.
Mm-hmm.
And so the yeah, so the it's just sort of the what happens then is you have a bunch of people confirming each other's incorrect idea that everything's fine now and we can go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
um Whereas and so they, interact with each other and spread the infection. And um like the more people who are having Fauci, I don't know his first name, I really, man, I'm going into a journalism module
Mm-hmm.
for my communications minor. I don't even know anyone's names. That's so bad. But the um Fauci made a statement at like a like press briefing situation the other day after like a big sort of presidential meeting with the like pandemic team. And the made a statement talking about everyone is a participant in how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And so the even if you're going around, like I realize that people, you're tired, and I realize there are things you want to do, and I realize that it's difficult to be restricted, but the but you are an active participant in the spread and acceleration of this,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not that ends up affecting you negatively
Yeah.
in terms of your health. And so like we've got a bunch of people running around, um sort of recklessly spreading infection, while you have a ton of people hiding in their houses expending much more energy than they should have to, trying to just stay sane
Yeah.
and keep themselves safe. And it's a pretty intense form of ableism going on over here, and it's a
Yeah.
rough time, and it's the reason why this thing is going to be around for much much longer.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Because in states and countries where they crack down hard on it, like
Oh yeah.
it, like they just killed it, like it's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
And but we didn't do that, so we're going to have to live with it for like a long 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 time.
Yep. Um, it's just like things that I've noticed more as time goes on. There are a lot of people that are just very selfish and don't care for the consequences. That there's an increase of that for sure. Because I'm just seeing a lot of people, whether it be on Twitter or in the news, that are just like, I don't care. My rights is that I don't need to wear a mask about this quote unquote fake illness. And
Mhm.
there'll be like some people that are just like, hey, if I die, who cares? That's pretty much just a lot of Zoomers in
Yeah, it's
general.
like my life, my choice,
Yeah, my life, my
basically.
choice. And then there was also plenty of people that are like, and if boomers go down with me, hooray.
I
And
I saw a really good tweet several months ago,
mm-hmm,
and it's incredible how applicable it has become. But it basically said like, look, if you're in the crowd of people who are like, look, like some sick people and some old people will die, that's just gonna happen. But I'm gonna continue to live my life the way I want to live it because go freedom, America.
mm-hmm.
You don't get your all lives matter bumper sticker back because clearly you
Yep.
don't believe that.
Yep.
And here we are in the middle of a massive like Black Lives Matter
Mm-hmm.
matters movement,
Yep.
and ending police brutality movement, and the
There's.
people who are running around
Mm-hmm.
without a care for their at-risk neighbors,
Yep.
and friends and family are coming out here being like, but all lives matter. It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
they don't. You're saying that because you don't, because you are either you don't understand or you are uncomfortable with the tension um of the situation, not because you actually believe that. Because if you believed it, you wouldn't be acting in the pandemic the way that you are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Takes
One.
me off so much.
Okay. Like, I also kind of just lost hope in a lot of people that don't care about the pandemic, who don't care about the pandemic, because of a very famous clip that came out, I think, a week and a half ago,
What
of a
what is
man
it?
that went to the Trump rally,
Nice.
and they were asking him, "What do you think about going to a rally like this with a global health scare?" He
Mhm.
proceeded to say something like this. This is going to be like a summary, but like, yeah, COVID was real bad. It took my friend, but
I saw this clip. Yeah.
thinking about it, what we don't really know whether COVID still actually exists or not. It's a 50-50 split.
I
Oh.
think the thing the thing that is the most disheartening to me and the thing that is the greatest sort of revelation to me in all of this is realizing how many people either just don't think
Yes.
about things
Mm-hmm.
hard
Mm-hmm.
or at all, and also realizing how many people are willing to choose not to think about something when lives are on the line,
Mm-hmm.
um, or how many people are willing to choose not to think about something because it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the most disheartening thing to me about it. And yeah, it's just extremely depressing. And I've got like, I don't know, like it's like people in my extended family just sort of running around like, like whatever, it's fine, because they're still in that like what can I do mindset rather than like what shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um and the I don't know, I'm like sitting over here like, hey, so like I'm in a category of people that could walk out of this with like permanent lung damage or death, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever, like it says the government said we were allowed to do this, so. And like I don't know, that's pretty upsetting. That
Yeah.
like that's really, I feel very much like in the area I'm in, I sort of feel kind of alone, like it's us against the world. And
Yeah.
that's a sucky place to be.
Yeah.
And it didn't have to be this way.
It really didn't, but it's just like we. This has been just a major show of how people are going to react towards like the end of the world, or what's going to be happening during a war or during another even more deadly pandemic.
Yeah. So
Like,
we're pretty dang lucky in that like this
mm-hmm.
thing died. Like it's horrible. Like I'm
Yes.
not trying to
Mm-hmm.
um alleviate the horribleness of the
Mm-hmm.
situation, but like relatively this could have been a lot worse, because of how like sort of weak the virus is
Yes.
outside of a living host and outside of like liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just breaks down fairly
Yeah.
quickly.
And
um
even
it
as
could have
an
been
overall virus, it
so
could have
much
been
worse.
a way more deadly virus because it's
Yeah.
kind of just like a stronger version of the flu that nobody has had before. So,
It's, I mean, no,
well, it
but
depends on the person who has it. Because just like I've seen
no.
people, because okay, like I
I'm
said,
sorry.
I've
I'm not
had
gonna
friends who
stand the
had
idea that
COVID.
it's like the flu.
I've had friends who had COVID,
Yeah.
and during in the time where they were going through the symptoms, it was just very heavy coughing, it, pretty much just like high temperatures. They said it was just a more intense version of the flu that they had.
Yeah.
But this is just young people, and for the people who have who are immunocompromised, it's obviously way worse.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more complicated than that because it's not just a clear these people are young and healthy versus these people are immunocompromised. Like that is definitely a factor. But the
True.
thing is perfectly healthy people are getting sick with COVID and you have a
Mm-hmm.
range of reactions from like a it's like a bad flu to permanent lung damage and
True.
permanent like physical degradation that could lead to death and just actually dying. And we
Yes.
don't know what the determinants in that equation are.
True.
The idea that it's these clear lines, that's not how it works. That is a myth that is spread for simplicity and comfort. And
Yes.
it's not actually how it works. We don't know exactly what determines where you fall on that line
Yes.
of severity.
Sorry for making it seem like it's not as bad as it is, because it is really bad.
Yeah.
Um, um, because COVID is still awful. It's not. It's something to be afraid of, whether you're healthy or not. Um,
I'm just I don't mean to like ride you
oh
or
no no no!
anything, but
I
like
understand.
the thing is that right now the language we use, the expressions we use, like the words we use have connotations, the expressions we use have connotations. The
They
the
have
language
consequences.
we use is critically important, and the language we use and the way we use it is critically important for the um just moving forward because how surviving this and getting a better outcome and keeping people safe is insanely incredibly dependent on social perception,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people won't go a lot of people just aren't looking for concrete information. A lot of people are just watching the news or just looking at their social media feeds or just looking at like, oh, what are we allowed to do? Like people
Mm-hmm.
aren't thinking, and
Yeah.
those are the people that are causing damage. Those are the people that are the problem. And so casually saying it's like the flu or cat but worse, and casually saying okay, young healthy people are fine and but immunocompromised people are in danger, like simplifying it causes harm actively. And I realize
Yes.
that nobody listens to this.
Yes.
And by the time we have like people listening to it, like this will be hopefully somewhat in the past.
I'm
But
I'm
like
pretty sure.
that's why I'm getting on you about this because
Don't worry. It's fine you
it's
getting me on me.
really
Cuz well
important
yes.
the way we
And
talk about it.
yes, the thing is like the way that I talked about it, I saw it in a different way than I think you thought I meant it, and which is understandable. When I was thinking of it, I'm thinking of like when the original flu just destroyed almost all of Europe kind of jazz. That's
Yeah.
how I viewed it, and that's what I was hoping I got across, and I didn't get that across. So I can
That's because
understand.
the like the common perception of like associating with the
You're like,
flu
oh, it's just the
is like
flu. Yeah.
it's just the flu.
Mm-hmm.
That's why precision is important to me.
Yes.
And that's why precision is important objectively outside
Yeah.
of me. That's why precision is important right now because intent is not enough because people aren't thinking through um just people aren't thinking
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time, or people are misinformed, or people have different associations to different things, which is one of the things that like Trump's administration is actively avoiding using, and people who want to just have things go back to normal are actively avoiding using words like mask, virus, pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
deaths, etc., because they don't because those are words that hit with people. That those are words
Mm-hmm.
that make people feel like, oh, it's this is a thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Those are words that connect with people and say, hey, this is real, this is happening. Virus, that's a scary word. COVID-19, that's scary. Masks, that's scary. Pandemic, that's scary. So they're avoiding using that language the because they want to placate everyone, because it would be good for their campaign that they're running in terms of the Trump administration, and because for the people who wanted things to go back to normal, it will help them feel more comfortable, and they don't want to think about the scary stuff about it.
Mhm.
And so so using words that have universal scariness or universal precision, just not like, you cannot trust on intent. You cannot trust intent. You cannot trust that an idea will go through, because there is social association with
Mhm.
it, because it just like it might not connect with someone, and that might reinforce someone's desire to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And so that's why yeah, that's why I'm so up in arms, basically.
Well, understandable. Well, of course. Uh, it,
Cuz like I'm cuz like, first of all, I want to be alive. First of all, like, this
mhm.
is not
Yes.
like, I want to be alive. I want my family to be safe. I want to be able to participate in the world, which is extremely difficult when
Mhm.
everyone's out here being like, "All right, we'll let the sick people stay home." But also, like, it would be nice if I could, like, see my boyfriend sometime in the next 3 years. Like,
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
like, it's just not fair. People are like all out
Mhm.
for themselves, and
Yeah.
and because they don't want to think about how they are disadvantaging other people.
Yep. It's interesting thinking about that because talk right now, it, everything's on fire. The entire world's
Mm-hmm.
on fire, and everything is being attacked at the same time. Everyone's like, "Here's all the injustices in the world, and let us attack them all at the same time." I'm like, "Holy
Yeah.
crap!"
Yeah.
Uh, and we're just finding more and more out about different people and their views, and I'm like, "Oh no,
It's true.
oh no."
Some stuff is like, some stuff is like, man, like we're learning a lot about just the horribleness of people sometimes,
Yes.
um or all the time. I don't know. i
Mm-hmm.
i am i am horrified at how there's so about learning. I am horrified by what I am learning about the experience of living as Black American.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
horrified.
That is very terrifying. Uh, it's like learning more of the privilege I have had. I could have had it way worse depending on where I lived.
It's
Finding that
true,
out.
yeah.
Uh, finding out just how bad cops are. Yeah.
Yep. And just how powerful the police are
Oh,
is the
yeah.
thing that gets me. I'm like, they should not be allowed to. The power is insanely
Yes.
disproportionate. The common response is insanely disproportionate,
Mm-hmm.
especially when race is in the equation.
Yeah.
Especially when race is in
The
the
amount,
equation.
just the pure amount of power and
Mm-hmm.
budget they're given. I did not know
Yep.
their budget.
It's massive.
It's so big,
It's
and it,
massive.
it does not need to be nearly as big as it is. It's just like,
Especially where like other social programs in like these cities where the
yes,
budget is massive are just falling apart.
yeah,
Like
like
the
legitimately, if you just
like
give
an
it,
inner city school with like just like loses all their counselors, and then also here's
all of
a
their like,
Tesla, a
yeah,
police Tesla. Like,
yeah,
what?
mm-hmm.
What?
it's it's so interesting to see that because there's a lot of different things people think about, and you're like, ah, what? Okay, this is slightly tangential, but also related. There's been a lot of talk about how there a lot of different countries are slamming on specifically America,
Yeah.
and
I
yeah,
am not surprised.
oh
They
yeah,
should
they
be.
should. Um, it's interesting because then they're just like, we're not like that,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
not great either.
yes, they're just like, yo, we're a good country though, and then I look at which countries they're talking about, and then everyone, and then you're like, no, that country's not good either. Like, like I'm finding out more and more about stuff. So far, everyone's now new consensus about the best country in the world. It's New Zealand. Because like apparently there's actually just been good relations with the Aboriginals and everything throughout history, and currently all the policies are good, and there's a lot of just equality. I'm like, oh dang, okay, good for New Zealand. Thank you for being the good new standard of what we should be going for. Because there were people that were like, yo, Australia is freaking great. And now we've gotten into the long and awful history that the Australians have had with the Aboriginals, and how there's
Mm-hmm.
still some bad things going on with the Aboriginals. And you're like,
Yeah.
holy crap, that's another thing. And then, of course, Britain was just like, oh, screw America. And they were like, yo, have you seen your history? It's actually
Yeah.
almost worse than ours. And it's
We've
still bad to this
yeah,
day. Um,
absolutely.
like with France, I've seen how bad it is in France. There are a lot of race tensions, especially with those of Arab countries.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was there seeing people yell at people saying, "Go back to your country," when these people were born and raised there. It's like that's the thing. Apparently, there is actually. I thought Switzerland was one of the okay countries, and I'm now learning that there's actually still plenty of bad stuff. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
gay marriage is still illegal there, which I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
didn't know
gosh.
that. What they have is apparently just packs where, like, if you're with your partner, you can still share stuff and whatnot. The problem is, like, if your partner passes away, you can't divvy up anything, and you're not in any
Yeah.
names, and you still can't get into hospitals. Um,
Hospitals is like the biggest thing
yeah,
to me.
hospitals
Like
is definitely one of the biggest.
marriage affords, and that's the thing that was a revelation to me actually somewhat recently, because I just didn't think of it that way. Like marriage gives you the right to be with your loved one,
Mm-hmm.
in some situations. Like obviously the pandemic is different,
Mm-hmm.
which is horrifying, just
Yeah.
by the way. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna continue pointing out the things that are horrifying and need to be thought about.
Yes.
um and the but like in marriage gives you the right to be with your loved one, and to help support and help them make decisions when they are in medical crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
That's kind of the biggest thing for me. People should have the right to be with the people they love when they're
Yeah.
dying
Mm-hmm. Like,
or when they need them.
it's like thinking just about the world, and everyone's just like, "Yo, what about Canada?" And now
Canada has some
Canada
tough.
has Canada has some good things, but we also are now just realizing Canada's just like America light, and just
I mean,
like
or
going,
just America different in a lot of
yeah,
ways.
pretty
Like
much,
just the whole welfare checks thing.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's like they're doing some things better, but at the same time, there's still plenty of things they're doing wrong too.
yep.
And it's just like people are fighting on best countries now. They're like, it's definitely not America. Well, yeah,
It's
America's,
not a competition.
yeah, it's not a competition. Every country, for the most part, is still doing really bad.
Yeah,
And so
I.
stop acting like that. I remember just yesterday just going through one of those comment threads on Twitter, because people, of course, were arguing, because Phineas and Ferb made a joke about it. It was just like, because Doofenshmirtz was like, I wanted to go to the land of opportunity. And then but then I ended up in America instead. And
There you go.
yeah,
There it is.
yeah, and that was a funny little jab, a little joke, but everyone in the comments was going nuts. They're like,
Oh my gosh.
which country was he actually talking about then? And a lot of people were saying Canada, and then a lot of Canadians were like, okay, like we're good, but also Canada's still not actually that great. And they're like, wait, what?
I mean, countries are like it's the same thing with people, and like people are good, but also
Mm-hmm.
like can people can be really really bad, or people
Yeah.
can be good with flaws,
Mm-hmm.
and the people can be good with really bad flaws,
Yeah.
and And loads of people are, at least to some, I think maybe almost every human being is at least to some degree self-destructive,
Yes.
and should be working to figure out how to not be self-destructive. And so
Absolutely.
the like there are lots of people who are like, I don't want to admit, like, I don't want to think about how our government has failed our country. I don't want to think about how broken our foundations are
Yeah.
in big sections, in big places, um because I have national pride.
Yeah. And
And I think that
that
you
is a
can have
big thing. It feels
national,
like brainwashing when you just think about it. Cuz
it
like
does.
yeah, especially
I am,
when we're talking
yeah.
about like cuz people are bringing up things that I just never really thought about, like how yes, we s- we say the pledge of allegiance every day in schools.
Mhm.
Um how almost everyone just has how many American flags there are everywhere, and how your pride as an American is so big. It's just like you can. There are a lot of people that will just like, are you American enough? Are you? Do you truly have pride in your country? And it puts
Yeah.
people against each other if you don't feel that way, and it's interesting.
Here's the thing about pride. Because it's the same, like, just again, it's the same with people. Like, there's healthy pride and there's unhealthy pride.
Mm-hmm.
Unhealthy pride, you take pride in everything you do. You cannot admit that you did wrong. You are not capable of doing wrong. It's
Mm-hmm.
everyone else's fault.
Yep.
um and then there's healthy pride, where you recognize you are proud of yourself, you're proud of your nation, but you recognize where you have problems and you work on and take responsibility for them. That is
Mm.
not a thing we are used to doing as a country,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
it is pretty dang clear. I am proud of my country. I'm proud of
Yes.
what we believe in. I'm proud of what we try to stand for.
Mm-hmm.
I am proud of the dream that we work for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the we have to
Execution.
recognize that it is a dream,
Yeah.
and we can work towards it. We're never gonna get it perfectly. We are
Probably.
going to have lots of problems, and we have built half of our country on a broken foundation. And
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't continue to live, if you build your house on a broken foundation, you don't continue to, if you have the means, which we do, you don't have it, you don't continue to live in that house and pretend that the foundation isn't broken. Your house could is currently collapsing on top of you. You fix the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And the and that is a thing that a lot of people don't want to do, and that is the thing that the president does not want to do.
Yes.
And like, in the 2016 election, I voted for just a local a local candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I voted for a guy. I didn't know a whole lot about him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't vote Democratic or Republican, because
Both
I'm
candidates were
still
awful.
unaffiliated in terms of
Yes.
um just who I am and what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and what I believe in. But I voted my conscience, and that was to not play the the enemy of my enemy is my friend game, to not
Mm-hmm.
play that if I vote for this person, then this person won't get into office game.
Mm-hmm.
And the like, I have been surrounded by lots of people who are like, well, look, like, this stuff is, like, these are the good things that have been done under
Mm-hmm.
this administration. These are the bad things that have been
Mm-hmm.
done, but like, we should consider them both, which I agree. I
Yes.
agree, we should consider
Always
both the good things
consider.
and the bad things. It's important. Um but the
But if you're only
in the
blind
last
by
several
seeing
months,
good things and not the bad things.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
In the last several months, um the just horrific things that this administration has
Mm-hmm.
done, that Donald Trump's administration has done, just
Yes.
absolutely horrific things,
Absolutely
are
horrific.
unacceptable to me.
Oh yes.
And the should be unacceptable to everyone
Yes.
if
It's
we know what's good for us. And
yes.
the but like, the thing that puts me over the line is like it's already not acceptable, but the thing that makes me genuinely angry, and I'm not an angry person, is the active and consistent gaslighting
Yes.
that they try to do, that
Uh-huh.
they successfully do, that
Oh
Donald
yeah.
Trump successfully does,
Mm-hmm.
um, that directly results in a lot of suffering and a lot of death and a lot of continued brutality and
Mm-hmm.
hatred.
Yes.
And because doing recognizing that would be bad for his public image and for his
Oh yeah,
campaign.
because that's the thing. It's very obvious for those who know of Donald Trump, know of his character, and know what he is. He is all for himself. The
Yep.
fact that he even got into office in the first place still has me baffled, but here we are. And knowing all the different things, like the thing is, it's also interesting because I'll go into the things that people say are part of his positives, how he boosted the economy, but people don't see the long run or the actual effects of what he did to boost the economy. Like, what he did was loosen laws. And those
Mm.
laws, in particular, make it so that companies will have freer reign, especially those towards the top.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, per se, if you are a billionaire CFO of a big old industry and you didn't like laws perchance beforehand that were restricting you, maybe you could now loosen those. Then when you get back to your position of CFO, it'll just boost you, which is
Yeah.
definitely what was happening. It's going to, in the long run, just hurt the economy, but help the big time business owners,
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly one of Donald Trump's goals. And we can just continue to see that he is an uneducated man who,
He cannot state a full sentence. Like
yes,
linguists have analyzed his just him speaking all the time,
mm-hmm,
just how he speaks.
yes,
And he is at a like childhood development level
mm-hmm,
of uh just verbal expression.
yes, and it's interesting just seeing the people who do defend him. It's very hard for me to trust those people at this point in time because I don't understand how you can still look at this man at this point in time and see him as a good representation of the US and somebody you would want for 4 more years.
Yeah. I
And
yeah.
honestly, just we a man who told us, "Hey, if maybe the best way to get rid of COVID-19 is to consume bleach products."
I
Um,
yeah.
a
I the thing that gets me more than that is like if we keep testing, then we'll keep discovering new cases, so we shouldn't test. That's just logically
yeah.
absurd, and that this
Mm-hmm.
man thought that that was a thing that made sense
Yes.
and said it.
Another one was when a you know of the video of the older gentleman that went up to the police. They shoved him down and his skull caved in a little bit and was
I
bleeding.
have. Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
Do you remember Donald Trump's statement on that man?
I did not hear the statement.
He put out a statement saying, actually, we are now sending the FBI to look into it. This man may have been Antifa. It may have been
Which is not
justified,
illegal, which is not an illegal
which is not an illegal thing.
organization. Like
And
the thing is, I'm seeing so many people saying, "Well, they were breaking the law, then they can be like tear gassed and shot with rubber
mhm,
bullets." Which,
which is
by the
no,
way,
is against the
for
Geneva
anyone,
Convention.
yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, so first of all, that's an insanely disproportionate response to like protesting where you shouldn't, peacefully protesting where you shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the So rubber bullets are not like rubber bullets. They are bigger than the average person's. No, they're bigger than your fist. They're like as big
Yes.
as Andre the Giant's fist.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly smaller because his hands are massive. But
they.
they are massive.
Yes.
They are metal. They are coated with a thin layer of rubber. They are meant to
Yes.
be shot at the ground and hit protesters' legs, which is still kind of,
Messed
I
up.
don't know about that. But police on a widespread level are just shooting them directly at people.
Yes.
Tear gas is a dispersal tool
Yes.
to disperse crowds. The police are cordoning people into enclosed areas and then tear gassing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that they are allowed to do this, and that the president is actively
Endorsing
telling
it.
them to do it, endorsing it, and calling protesters terrorists.
Yep.
The like looking at the power that the police and the military have, looking at Donald Trump's willingness to use violence on
Mm-hmm.
citizens that don't like the status quo, and then looking at how willing he is to sacrifice hundreds of thousands of lives in order to preserve his image and keep his power.
Mm-hmm.
um like I voted my conscience in the 2016 election, which was I'm not going to play the political game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do what I think is right. I don't like either of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And but this year
Yeah.
my conscience says get this man out of
Oh,
power, get this man out of office as fast as humanly possible at whatever
mm-hmm.
cost.
Yeah.
Because if he's reelected, I would not be surprised if the entire country just tears itself apart.
Oh, it's totally possible. Like, things were already bad when he was first elected. People were going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And now with all of the things that he's done the past 4 years, all of the damage he's done and is continuing to do, we just need to get him out. The problem is that there are a lot of people that, because his opponent's Joe Biden, which is not a good
Yeah.
one.
Well,
In
it depends.
well, it's
The thing is, he's not as old and as losing it as he seems to be. If you look, he is old.
yes.
If you look at his actual meetings with people, he's really precise. He's very organized. He's checking and rechecking his information before he makes statements
Yeah.
and addresses concerns. Also,
If only he had shown that in all
what
of
do you
the
mean if only he had
well,
shown
no,
that?
no, more consistently. Because the thing is, the moments where he doesn't, he isn't as eloquent with his words and seems a bit senile. Those are what people will pick up on and keep, and that's
Yeah. He
why,
also has
yeah.
overcame a stutter,
Yes.
and so that might be part of why his speaking is weird currently as
Mm-hmm.
he's getting older. um the man's mind works just fine. um but we also haven't had a lot of broad exposure to him and his campaign, because what they're doing at the
Mm-hmm.
moment is what they have been doing for the last few months is just sort of let Donald Trump hang himself.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to sort of mobilize and move forward with stuff.
A bit.
Luckily,
Mm-hmm.
not even luckily actually. The thing is that the Tulsa rally just obliterated a lot of the presidential campaign's ability to move forward with accuracy and effectiveness.
Yeah.
Because that data that they had, that they thought they had, that workable data that they thought they had and were planning
Mm-hmm.
using, is completely ineffective and broken.
Okay.
Which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest win. Part of the win for the Tulsa rally, with people not buying tickets that they were free, but getting tickets and then not showing up, is part of it is that you don't the pandemic boost that would have happened there is lessened. The infection boost that would have happened there is lessened, and part of it is, but maybe perhaps a larger benefit is that they have a ton of just a crazy amount of just defunct data,
Mm-hmm.
and purging that and removing that while still maintaining their algorithmic structure basically
Mm-hmm.
is I'm not an expert here obviously, but
Yeah.
it's really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And this was very bad for them, so I'm hoping that can continue to be a major hindrance for them moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of people are not super are not huge fans of Biden, having
Yes.
difficulty with the way he's being presented at the moment.
Absolutely. Like, oh, like we've talked before, how I'm not a big fan of Biden, but I'm willing to have him. I don't think he's terrible.
Mhm.
I just feel like we needed somebody a bit stronger in what they were saying, which is why I was a bit of a Bernie bro. But before that, I was all for
Yeah.
Andrew Yang. Yang,
Mhm.
Yang Gang. I hope he comes back for 2024.
Uh-huh.
It's just like from what I've seen and what even family have said, they want Biden simply because they don't want somebody too radical. They just want somebody to bring us back to the status quo before we can do something
What status
radical.
quo?
As in, like,
But yeah.
hey, everything's destroyed right now. Let's make it
Yeah.
not destroyed. How about
Mhm.
that? And then fix everything. And so that's their thoughts. I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm going to vote for Biden. That's
Yeah.
just what it's going
So
to be.
am I.
Yeah.
Just not Trump.
Yes, not Trump.
Anyone but
It,
Trump
and
at this point for me.
at this absolutely. And it's just like it's interesting because we have a man who has been impeached. Is he the third? That's a well, no, second. That's
I don't
officially
know.
been impeached.
Mhm.
Yet it makes me think as well. Just what the frick is impeachment even for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Apparently,
that works.
from what I've been told and have researched, it's just like now he's up for being taken in for crimes. So if he had apparently committed a crime before, it wouldn't have been easy for him to have been taken to jail.
Mm.
But now he can be,
Interesting.
which is,
okay.
I would think that with impeachment, you should have it so that that person cannot run again. I feel like that's a big
Yeah.
one because
I don't
somebody
know how
who's
it works.
impeached in the first place shouldn't be able to run again. But here we are, and
Yeah.
there's just so many things. There's so many things.
There's so much.
The amount of Russian involvement that has been confirmed many a time with various documents, actual calls, actual things.
Mhm.
The amount of
It's a lot.
there's
It's a lot.
so much
Yeah.
corruption, and
There really is.
yeah, and I'm just thinking, because it comes back to those people who don't think. I really believe that there's probably actually just a lot of those people, a lot more than I even thought, because there's still
A
people
lot of
that
people in power who are corrupt.
no, that vote and support Trump.
Oh yeah, there are tons.
There are tons. And I'm just thinking about it.
Trump is the comfortable option for lots of people because he's like, look, we don't like this. It's uncomfortable. Like, there's a lot of tension right now. We don't want tension. We want peacefulness. But the thing is that you have to reach a certain point of discomfort or pain before you make a change.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like a low key thing. While I was on my trip to Arizona, there were quite a few conversations about BLM and Trump. There were just those were just things. Some where I couldn't say anything because it would have been a bad time. But some where they did ask my opinion, and it was a good conversation. Mainly how just like one woman who I had a conversation with, we were discussing how her friend is an African American lady, yet she totally supports Trump to this day. And I was it's a thought that I tend not to think about because one, a lot of the African American community sees that and it's just like, okay, that's just very sad. It's extremely sad, and I don't know how you're able to be like this at this point. And I'm just thinking, how I'm thinking how as well, because it's just like he's shown so many signs that he has just been flat out racist, flat out, like no hiding it. And how would you get people that he's racist towards to still support him?
Yeah.
It really confuses me. It really does.
Mhm.
Yeah, like we found out like there was a very uncomfortable talk because a friend of a friend of mine's, he was talking with her, and she had lost her scholarship because she was saying that there is legitimately no such thing as white privilege, and that people should stop whining about it
Mhm.
and whatnot. Uh, and of course, my friend was like, "Hey, uh, you seem to be smart, yet you can't see the flat out facts that there is white privilege. There's flat out white privilege." And it was interesting because, of course, he was very uncomfortable and just didn't want to be a part of it, but as well as how he had to be stuck in this conversation with a person who saw as very intelligent and was a good friend with, but it started being tested the moment that, hey, you are. Okay, I'm just gonna say, she just started belittling him, calling
Mhm.
him out, saying he's a sheep, he's a flat out idiot. How can he be
Mhm.
following this bull crap? And I'm just, I was there. I was mad, of course,
Mhm.
because I was like,
Of course, yeah.
how in the world? It's like, if I was put in that position, because usually I can be fairly eloquent with how I would be in that type of conversation. I could hold things down, but I would flat out just say, "You are a terrible person."
You can't belittle people
You
like the
cannot belittle
you
them.
can state your opinion, but like you can't hate on people because they don't agree with you. Like
Yes.
obviously you have the freedom to do that, but it again, it's like when people think about the Constitution a lot, they think about, okay, what am I allowed to
Mm-hmm.
do? Like I want to do something, what am I allowed to do?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than what shouldn't I do, even
Mm-hmm.
though I can.
Yeah, and it's like,
And
shoot.
it's
Okay, continue.
it is critically important for us to continue to have these conversations and to
Yes.
like there's a quote that's going around. I don't remember who said it, but it basically says like now is not the time to be quietly not racist. Now is the time to be actively anti-racist.
Yes.
And I'm applying that to everything about the current situation right now. The
Yes.
pandemic, the police brutality, the just rampant racism, and
Mm-hmm.
the sexism and assault that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
that is being exposed, and the like stand like we have to stand up for what we believe,
Mm-hmm.
um and I like we must do that.
Mm-hmm.
But and I don't think that we should put a softer edge on the truth in some situations. I think sometimes you do have to convince someone, and you might need to do that with a bit more of a gentle hand.
Mm-hmm.
um but even so, like you have to keep it respectful, or else the other party is not going to listen to you.
Yes. And like the thing is, another thing, she proceeded afterwards because it was just a conversation that while he initially instigated it, it kind of went downhill because she proceeded to just attack him,
Mm-hmm.
attack, and constantly be like, okay, now that I've shown you that you're an idiot, here's the real facts. Over and over with
Mm-hmm.
arguments that have been used so many times that I can pull out so many counter argument videos and
Yeah.
facts, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Um, it,
The simple fact is,
yeah.
um the likelihood of you being murdered for being white is absurdly low.
Mm-hmm.
The likelihood of someone being murdered because they're black is absurdly high.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yes.
That's the privilege.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about your race
Yeah.
in order to survive.
Like
Um
it was.
and that's just that's a fact.
Yeah. The thing is like by bringing up, oh, this many more people are being murdered because they're white, they still don't consider a lot of various things, like how there are just cops strewn more, in particular, African American neighborhoods,
Yeah, I mean they don't consider the
low income neighborhoods.
exactly. People who are and there's oh man, this issue is so complicated. Like if we start going into it, we're gonna be talking forever.
Yeah, we've got to end
Which
soon, sadly.
is if people want to learn about it, go learn about it.
Yes.
The learn about lead poisoning,
Yep.
learn about redlining, learn about all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Get educated. Just
Please.
TLDR. The president tear gassed and sent highly like equipped up to the eyebrows cops to beat and tear gas people out of an area, people who were peacefully protesting, including the media, people reporting on it, which is illegal for him to do, and so that he could walk in front of a church and hold a Bible, have a photo op
Which he
for his
has,
image.
which he has been
There's
known to be not religious.
yeah, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your life. He doesn't care about what matters to you. He cares about himself. Vote him out. The pandemic is real. Don't let people forget what's happening. Don't let people pretend that it's not happening, because people are dying, lives are on the line. And we don't continue look for real unpoliticized information. Listen to Fauci. Don't let yourself be manipulated and gaslighted by people who want to be comfortable and who want to use you.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
My TLDR, don't fight over which country's the best. The entire world at this point is messed up. Black lives matter, and all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Period.
It took me some time, but the fire has been lit, and we need to continue to protest until things get better, until things are fixed. They're trying to please us slowly with things that we never even asked for, like African American characters in cartoons now being voiced by African American people instead, which it's nice, but that's not what we were asking for.
I mean, we're asking for a lot. We need a lot. We need that. We need other things also. The point is that we're gaining ground and we have to keep pushing. If you're able to, continue to be uncomfortable and make the people around you uncomfortable, because it is important. If we're not uncomfortable, then we will not be able to make positive change. Martin Luther King Jr. said that tension is critical for growth. Don't let yourself be comfortable if you can. And if you have to, do it. If you need, like, take breaks. Like, let yourself be able to continue functioning. But don't get comfortable, and don't let the people around you get comfortable.
And
because we have to change.
Okay. Yes. And on that note, we'll have to end this podcast. Thank you for listening. Follow me at Nenorama on YouTube and on Twitter. Follow Howie on How Does One Person on Twitter and on YouTube. Make sure to sign petitions for the Black Lives Matter movement. Make sure to get educated. And we'll see you and we'll see you on the 11th, where we'll have a more light-hearted podcast, hopefully.
Yes.
With a guest, Cammy Cat. Thank you so much for listening.